All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Motorsport Manager, where we'll be playing the Underdog Challenge. This is the very first series on this channel. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I've played this game a lot before. I've also played this challenge before, and I think I found a really nice way of completing it. That feels fun to play, but also keeps you on a good pace. I've tried different ways. I'm not saying this one is the best one. Of course, there's many different ways of approaching this challenge and the game itself. But yeah, I think I can sort of make this a nice little guide and a full playthrough to show you how to do this challenge. Now, what is the Underdog Challenge? Well, we are going to be taking the lowest rating team, Predator Racing Group, and we're going to be trying to take them to the World Motorsport Championship, which is basically the Formula 1. We'll be starting in the equivalent of Formula 3 in the European competition. And yeah, we're going to be trying to climb up first to Asia and then indeed to the World Motorsport Championship, where we need to win the driver competition and the team championship in the same year. So that's definitely doable, but it's going to take some time, a lot of seasons to work both on our car and our HQ and eventually also on our drivers, because as you'll see in a bit, we are going to be starting with by far the worst setup out of everyone. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. You get a achievement for it. Every dog has its day, and there's of course some restrictions, meaning you can only do this challenge with Predator Racing Group, and you cannot leave the team. If you get fired or you just try and leave yourself, you of course fail the challenge. The duration is endless, which I'm certain won't be true for us. We are going to complete this challenge, just depends on how long. For the game options, well, we obviously don't want the tutorial as it immediately throws you into a race and we need to do some work up front. Session length will just be medium and currency euros and date format, whatever. It doesn't matter much. All right, then the first few things, let's call ourselves Steve. Not because my name is Steve, but because why not? You need a first name anyway. And fallback for the channel name, of course. Then a random birth date. Here, there you go. And then the actual first important decision, the backstory. So there's a few starting bonuses that you can start out with. For example, X driver here will improve your driver's feedback rating and also gives them a bit more of an improvement when they complete some races. It's okay. It's not very good in my opinion. Drivers are not the most important part for us, especially at the start. We need to improve our car and our HQ, and this stat bonus doesn't do either of those things for us, so it doesn't matter too much. X-Engineer gives you some part design time bonuses. Honestly, this one day doesn't do much for you, especially at the start, since we're not going to be designing many parts. We don't have the money for that, and we also have other things to spend our money on. So this also just doesn't do it for me. This one is the one we're going to be taking. It's also the simplest one, gets the least amount of fluff text. Yeah, our financial news will help you make the best deals on every purchase you make. And they do mean almost every purchase. So for example, breaking a contract, designing a new part, building a building. And that one is very important. You know, if you make if you try and upgrade a building that costs 10 million, you'll save 500,000 just like that. So that's actually very important for us because we are going to be spending a lot. So getting that 5% discount on all payments is huge. And then there's this one, Politico. This one is also quite interesting. You get +4 votes, which is very nice. And you also get free vote proposals, which normally cost 1 million. So that saves you about 1 million per season, and it also gives you a little bit more leeway in how you bring the votes through. This one is definitely interesting. Also later on, when you want more votes, because you can't, go against every proposal, and sometimes you'll need a bit of luck otherwise. But I think the financial backstory is just too important for us, so we're not going to be picking Politico. And yeah, let's give ourselves some glasses, look a bit smart. Why not? Yeah, and let's get into it. Of course, we're going to be picking the single-seater race, and then in the series, as you can see, basically Formula 3, Formula 2, and Formula 1. They're not called that, of course, due to licensing issues. But that's how it's going to go. So we're going to be starting in Europe, where yeah, there isn't too much exciting going on right now. So we're going to be trying to climb out of that as soon as possible. I think normally it happens around, if you very much focus on the car, you can maybe do it in season 3. I think I'm aiming for season 4. And if we have a bit of bad luck, it might be season 5 when you actually promote. It really depends a bit. At the start, anyway, we're going to be focusing on our HQ because, as you can see, Predator Racing Group, our star rating is atrocious compared to everyone else. And you can also see that in our stats here. We have by far the worst car, the worst drivers, the worst HQ, the worst staff, the worst sponsors, and only our pit crew actually holds up a tiny bit. But yeah, not much either, to be honest. That also means our expected finish will be 10th, and our budget is 250,000, for which we can basically buy nothing at all. At the very least, our pressure is low. The chairman doesn't expect anything from us, and I quite like our car design, so we've got that going for us. So let's get into it. Oh, it's these beautiful graphics. I love that. Every season you get to see it at least once, which is nice. I think they did a really good job on that. So, what are we going to be doing for this team? Now, in the very early on season, I think there's 4 things to keep in mind. First of all, we need to up our drivers, and then I don't mean in terms of skills. Yeah, we've already seen this. First of all, our drivers need to be upped in terms of marketability. Because right now, both our drivers, as you can see, we have Ines Santa Ana from Argentina and William Evans, I think from Australia, that is. Yeah, and both of them are not very good, both in skills. As you can see, this is very average, bang average. It's pretty good for the European Racing Series, but yeah, we're not going to be winning many races with this. And what's even more important is the marketability of Santa Ana here. It's just 2%. Marketability affects our sponsors, and as you can see, the breakdown, how you get your 2 drivers and your team's marketability. Which leads to a grand total of 16%, and that gets us only level 1 sponsors. Now, the higher this sponsor level goes, the more money we get, and money is what we desperately need this season, and basically all seasons going up. So yeah, as you can see, Ines Santa Ana definitely needs to go. Even Evans also has a very bad rating, despite being a little bit better. So both of them are going to need to go very soon within the first season, probably already within the first few races. We do have to keep in mind that it also costs money to break their contracts, especially for Ines Santa Ana. That's a heavy pill to swallow. But to be honest, it just needs to happen. We can't keep her for 34 months. That is going to cripple us. Yeah. Second thing is that we early on will need to ask our chairman for some money. You can do that here. We can't do it yet because 1 race has to have happened. But that will happen soon enough. That gives you about 1.5 million, which is money that we can very well use. Third early key to success to me is upgrading the factory to level 2 as soon as possible. This is our HQ. As you can see, we have nothing but a factory and a design center, the bare minimum that you need for running a team. And there is a lot more that we can eventually build. But for that, we do need, as you can see here, all of this is locked. For that, we do need an actual upgraded factory and also eventually an upgraded design center. As you can see, this unlocks a lot of stuff. For me, the factory is by far the most important. It gives you plus 10 part development staff, which is huge. You can improve your car quicker that way. And it also just improves the best buildings, in my opinion, or well, better at least than what the design center gives you. Eventually, both of these need to go to level 2, but the factory is definitely priority number 1. That's going to cost us 8 million. So we need to save up for a bit, because right now we have nothing. And then the last part for early game success is actually improving our car in a very specific way. But we'll get into that in a bit. All right, then onto our messages. We have got some emails, first of all, from our assistant, Tommy Jeffries. Hi, Steve. Welcome to Predators Racing Group. We are all delighted that you've chosen to start your managerial career with us here. Hopefully there are some great times ahead of us. I do hope so. I'm Tommy, and I'll keep you up to date with everything going around the team. That should be all for now. Good luck. And then we also get some welcome messages from our 2 drivers. One of 2, which is not going to be driving a single race for us, actually, if all goes according to plan. First of all, there's Ines Santana. She will be in for a little bit because we can't afford to get rid of her for now. Hey, I've heard you're super rich. You'd better put some cash into the team. It might make a big difference. Yes, it will, but not for you. Sorry. I also don't like her attitude too much. Ta. And then William Evans, you're some kind of millionaire, right? You'd better have some idea of how to race or we're all in trouble. Yeah, that's fine. We don't really care. Also, do you talk to your boss that way? I'm pretty sure I'm their boss, but yeah, I don't talk to my boss that way in my day job. Welcome to the design facility. Yeah, honestly, your lack of racing background doesn't exactly fill you with hope. That makes sense. It's funny because probably if we picked like ex-driver, for example, they would all be a lot more positive, but then they might whine a bit about the financial situation. So it's, yeah, whatever you pick, I don't think everyone is happy with you. A report on our racing drivers, and that just shows us what we already know. They are not the cream of the crop. We're expected to finish 19th and 20th. Yeah, Ines Santana is a little bit better in terms of skills than William Evans, but both are just not that good. And we have our reserve driver, Katie Linares. Then the first important message from our chairman, Darren Luff. It's the start of the new season, so we need to clarify just how well you think the team is going to do this season, which sets the payments amount that I give you after each race. Now, he gives you two options. Normally, I think he gives you three, but early on, since we're only expected to go 10th, he only gives you one up. Normally he gives you one better and one worse than you think you can do. Yeah, he's going to give us either the option for 10th, which gives us 1.5 million per race, or 8th, which gives 1.8 million per race. Now, obviously this money matters a lot to us. The problem is 8 is kind of hard to do. It's not impossible for sure. You can, I've seen people do it. I've done it myself. But I think by putting ourselves in 10th, we actually give, we make it easy for ourselves to keep the chairman happy, which is important to ask him for money, which is about 1.5 million. And also by outperforming your target, which in this case would be worst of the worst, so any improvement is an improvement, gives you also a little bit of marketability, which to me is also very important. So yeah, we could be going for 8th here. I think for the first season, we're going to be sticking with 10th, and next season we'll reevaluate depending on how good our car is. Introduction to the pit crew. Yeah, we have some specific jobs. We'll get into that right now. You could get already a new person. None of these tickle my fancy so much. You have the stats here, which are important for how well they can do, how quick they can do everything. And then you have stamina, which impacts their mistake chance. So you see the lower the stamina, the higher their base mistake chance. 74, for example, leads to a 0.4 mistake chance. 71 to 0.6. So ideally, you want, of course, this number to be 0 outright. So some of these are decent, but their stats are nothing to write home about. We're going to be rejecting all of them and try and get some new recruits. There was definitely probably one of those was an improvement over what we have, but we actually need this 250,000 for something else in a second. So we're not going to be doing that. Having a quick look then, we see already that we have 2 people who are just horrible. Can we fix that? Just having a quick look. No, doesn't look like it. Oh, maybe. Actually, if we swap you with you, and then you with you, then we get rid of the 0.6 rating at least, and the 0.4 I guess is just going to have to stay. Well, actually, no. Let's just swap you out. Yeah, we're going to have horrible pit stop timings, but at least the mistake chance is much less. And that's important to me. All right, now before we continue on the agenda and start forwarding time, there's 2 things I want to do first. First of all, we are going to be improving our car's reliability. There's always a few things you can do. You can design a new part. That costs a lot of money we don't have. And anyway, we need to save our money first. So we're not going to be getting any parts. We can also fit some parts and put the parts that we have on the car. Doesn't matter for now anyway, because we don't really have any. And then we can improve our parts. You can either pick performance or reliability. And you can see here, performance shows you basically how good the part is, and reliability is how quick it will break down. Now we're actually going to be improving 2 parts specifically, and only for one car. That is going to be the engine and the gearbox. Now, why are we doing that? Well, first of all, you can see some of these parts already have very high reliability. The suspension, the rear wing, and the front wing all are already decent enough that you can probably finish a race with them unless something goes horribly wrong. The brakes are not very good, but, and that is important to note, despite them not being very good, they are very quick to repair during a pit stop. It takes only about, I think, 11 seconds, and we can do that during refueling. Part fixing and refueling happens at the same time. The refueling anyway takes about just as long as that 11 seconds, so it doesn't matter much. We can do basically a free repair on the brakes. So we don't need to use our valuable staff to waste their time on brakes when we can just repair it during the race anyway. Now the engine and the gearbox each take about 22 or 24 seconds. I'm not sure. It also for sure depends on your staff and their stats. But both of these absolutely need to be improved. So we are going to be improving one engine and one gearbox only. And we're doing that because we want these two to be as high as possible without having to break down. If we pick 2 gearboxes and 2 engines, there's a very good chance that all 4 of these parts are not going to be that high, probably like 70 or something, low 70s. I'd rather these are each in the high 70s, even 80 if possible, because then we basically guarantee we can finish the race with one car without needing to repair them. The reason we want one car to finish highly is because there's going to be some sponsor objectives for money. And one car finishing high is better than 2 cars finishing low because of repairs and whatever else. I know you can risk it and go for 2 cars doing well, but honestly, it doesn't matter so much to us. We're not going for high finishes. We don't care about our driver morale because neither of them is going to be there for very long. So what is the point, basically? I'm going to play it safe and only repair 2 parts in total. Now we're also going to be improving the performance of those parts, but then allocate 0 staff. That basically means Tom Woodridge here starts working on these parts, but doesn't take any of the capacity for the reliability away. It's a very small bonus. You can see it takes 200 days, but you might as well get him to work. Okay, then the last thing we need to do before advancing time is we are going to do some driver negotiations. And the person we are immediately going to pick up is an out-of-work driver with the name of Frankie Kinney. She is pretty bad, as you can tell from the sort of guessed stats. Obviously, we haven't scouted her, so we don't know exactly how good she is. I've played this game before, so I do know what her stats are. She's not good, and she falls off very quickly because she's old. But there's 2 very important things about her. First, her marketability is about 75 or 6%, I believe, which is pretty good. But then secondly, she is also a pay driver, meaning that her sponsors will actually be paying us to put her in the driving seats, which is about 250,000 per race. It's not huge, but over a full season, that's 2.5 million that we can definitely use. And on top of that, she also takes a very low salary, which is nice. So we don't have to pay her much. Her sponsors actually pay us more, and she gives us some marketability, meaning we can up our sponsors a level already. She's also very interested in talking, as you can see. So we're going to be offering her 1 bit more on the salary. She will get the driver number 2 status, a medium length contract, and no signing on fee or bonuses. She's, basically with just upping this 1 bit, she's already happy enough that she'll sign for you. She's very desperate for a job, I think. Then our second pick will actually be a driver we are going to scout now to see what he prefers. We're not going to be able to get Scott Price here immediately because we need to break contract with Santa Ana, who costs a lot. We don't have that money. But he also has pretty decent marketability. I think he can grow a bit, and he also has decent enough stats. I think he's a fine second choice for now. He's not great, and we're not going to stick with him forever, but for now, he's good enough. As you can see, the cost to break contract, the one of William Evans, we can pretty much barely afford right now. So we are going to break his contract and not Santa Ana's because we just cannot afford that right now. 800,000 is too much. Okay, and that is everything we need to know before starting. So let's click on continue and see what we get in our mailbox. As you can see, the contract proposal for Frankie Kinney comes in right about now. You can already tell contract was agreed. Some news, yeah, basically the new Predator Racing Group manager was announced, Steve Fallback, that's us. Yeah, he's a total newcomer to the world of motorsport management. Well, I've played this game before a few times, so I wouldn't say that's entirely true, but we'll see what happens. Steve Fallback is taking control of the team starting right now. Yeah, the financial news will allow us to compete at the top level. I'm sure his banking contacts might come in handy when we need to keep the costs down. That is definitely what we'll be trying to do with our 5% bonus. Yeah, this type of, yeah, okay, basically our appointment is received quite poorly. He's got to, yeah, okay, some fans are going to give us the benefit of the doubt. It could be a great appointment. Honestly, looking at where the team is right now, we are the bottom of the barrel, the worst of the worst. So I think we can only go up, quite honestly. It could be a great appointment indeed. Now, Frankie Kinney, she loves the contract that we have given her, which is great. So let's sign that. And we're going to be replacing William Evans here. That's going to cost us almost all our money that we have right now. But honestly, it's not that much. As you can see here, the financial background payment discount is already immediately factored in. That's in this case only 11,000, but a flat 5% is very good. All right. Yeah, and if we now look at our brand new driver, she's actually better in terms of stats. She's 2 stars, so she's a little bit better than Evans was actually. She has good feedback, which is nice, and good focus, which means she's going to make less mistakes in a race. Yeah, all of our other starts are definitely not to write home about. Smoothness in 8 is quite okay. Smoothness is very important to keep your tires sort of fresh. The drivers are better at keeping the tires up, so that's nice. But like I said, the marketability of 75% and the pay driver characteristic are actually hugely important. That's why we got her. And as you can see, it's actually a bit more than I thought. It's almost 300,000 that we'll be getting for putting her in the race, which is really nice early on. Then, yeah, her traits, she also has controversial, which means she gets plus 25 marketability, but it makes the chairman a bit unhappy. That's going to make it a little bit harder to ask for money. As you can tell, he already doesn't like us so much anymore. We're uneasy now. I think in the next race, we can show him that we are the right man for the job. Kenny is very happy. I can't wait to check out the HQ. Well, there isn't much to check out yet, but soon. Evans is really not happy. Well, he doesn't mind the payoff, but it is a stab in the back. All right, well, that's fine. We won't be seeing you again, I'm sure. You're just not that good. And yeah, we snapped up Frankie Kinney. Now, if we have a quick look at our car, probably the reliability is getting up there. Yeah, 66 and 57%. It's not great, but it's getting there. And the next, immediately we get stopped again for an interview request with Xbc Sport. Now this one is actually also pretty important because you can get some small nice bonuses already. Well, you certainly picked a tough task for the first job. Are you expecting to pick up many points at all this season? Now these 4 questions are always the same as far as I can tell. So I already know which answers to pick. We're going to be picking the first answer, which says we're going to surprise a few people this year. Mark my words. Points are definitely on the cards. And now, why do we do that? Our drivers won't like it, but we don't care so much about that. The main thing is that our chairman did like it, and we got a 5% buff to his happiness. Then, Santa Ana is seen by your fans as your top driver. Do you agree with that, or would you say that Frankie Kinney is better? Now, actually, because we're going to be getting rid of Santa Ana, we could be picking Frankie Kinney here, but she already has a great morale. Let's just pick her for now. It doesn't matter so much. They'll be getting decent morale buffs throughout the season anyway. I've never really had a driver truly be so angry that they actually quit my team. So, yeah, it's fine. I wrote that you're expecting to finish 10th in the team's championship. Is that accurate, or do you think we can do any better? We will do better. We can promise you that. Again, a little buff to the chairman's happiness, which is important to ask him for money later on. And your financial skills aren't in doubt, but some pundits are skeptical about whether or not you belong in the world of motorsport. What would you say to them? Now, this one is actually the most important question out of all of them, because picking option A here, they're foolish to question me. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't good enough, and I can't wait to prove everybody wrong. That one gives you +5 marketability to your team, which is a very nice little boost early on. Basically, I think often if you pick the answers that are a bit Christian Horner-like, like rousing everyone up a little bit, that gives you plus marketability. So let's do that. And as you can see, we went from 20% to 25% marketability. All right, then let's keep advancing time. Hurry it up a little bit. And let's try and get to our first race, which will be the Black Sea, I believe, in Russia. Okay, this is our first event actually happening. Frankie Kinney is going to launch a cookbook, which is a temporary trait. As you can see, it gives her -5 fitness, but plus 25 marketability, which is actually a huge buff. It's a shame it only lasts for 14 weeks. A racing-themed cookbook. I'm not sure how well that is going to sell, but let's see. I've always enjoyed eating food. It's a primarily dessert-themed tome. Reportedly contains recipe for marshmallows, candy chicanes, and under-tray bakes. I would buy that cookbook. That sounds very fun and nice. One lick of my lollipop man and you'll be hooked. All right. Lapping it up. Desserts by Kinney is out now at all good retailers. All right, that is actually a very funny event. I've never really read through it before. This seems really cool. Let's see what that does to our marketability. We're still only getting sponsor appeal level 2, which I think we're already getting because of Frankie Kinney's 75%. But it might make it a little bit easier once we replace Santa Ana. I'm not sure that's going to happen within 14 weeks, but we'll see. Now, we are getting quite a lot of sponsor offers. We're going to wait just before the Black Sea launches to look at all of them. Otherwise, we keep coming back. Someone is complaining about our design center. I know we are lagging backwards behind everyone in the paddock, but that's okay. A huge anticipation for the season opener in Black Sea, and the chairman has some financial concerns because we basically spent all our money on getting a new driver. That is okay. I'm sure that the paid driver will get that number back up a bit. All right, now to improve our financial situation, let's have a look at all our sponsors. There is 2 types of sponsor deals. The race bonus sponsors, which means you need to do decently in the race to get that bonus, and the fixed payment sponsors, which gives you money regardless of how well you do. These are, of course, the easiest to get because you just outright get money. Here, you'll basically always have a pick between a low finish, medium finish, high finish. Let's have a look at the race bonus sponsors first, which are going to be on our rear wing, apparently. And we have here Sangyu and Wonderluck, who offer basically crap. We need to finish second or above, which is very hard to do with a car as crap as ours. So the bonus payment basically doesn't matter here. We're not going to get second, so we're not going to get this million and this 650,000. We could pick this for a 100,000 boost, but I'm almost just wondering if it's not better to let the offers expire. It takes 2 races, but then we'll get a different offer, maybe with a bigger upfront payment, which is a guaranteed money pool, basically. Let's see for slot 5. 5th, 8th, and 9th is also not that easy to achieve. I really want a low finish sponsor deal just because that guarantees us the cash, basically. So we will be picking actually Wan Chai here. It is only a 1-star instead of 2 stars, but I don't think we're going to be able to get that. 5th or above is very hard to get also with our car. 750,000 is a lot of money for us, so let's accept that. And immediately we get the upfront payment. Then for the fixed payments, let's see what we get here. We can pick from Chic Airways, Maxwell's, or La Roca. Only 1 2-star, and it's not a very good one, unfortunately. It lasts for 10 races, which is horrible. And basically, it only gives you 100,000 per race if you do the math. Maxwell's here gives you 150 per race, which is obviously already better, despite being, 1-star. And Chic Airways here gives you 450 plus 85,000. I think we'll actually be going for Chic Airways here just because it lasts for only 4 races instead of 6. And I'm really banking on getting some better deals down the line with maybe tier 2 or 3 at least. So let's get for, we're going to get Chic Airways for 450. And the last slot, this gives us 350,000 per race. I'm actually not going to take this yet because I want to see what the other two are. It could be that we get a nice level 2 buff here or a sponsorship. Yeah, and that might be worth the 350 that we're missing out on by not picking this just yet. Let's see how our car is doing. We're getting 72 and 78% on the engine and the gearbox. That's good enough. You should be able to ride out a race with that. No problem, normally. So let's fit those parts. Make sure that they're on Ines Santa Ana's car because she is the better driver. Yeah, she has the good engine. We'll give her the brakes also that have a bit better reliability. And she has the better gearbox. Now, neither of them particularly cares for this car, I believe. But that's okay. We don't care either. We just want to finish basically with our sponsor for 16th. That gives us a neat little 200,000 buff. And as you can tell, we are already going to be making a lot of money just for doing the race. You can tell the sponsor objective already gives us plus 285, which is the pay driver trait. And then if we do make the larger finish, we'll actually be making just above 1 million, which is very nice. Part fitting we've already done, so let's get into the race. Very clear and clear. Yeah, okay, so no rain expected for the Black Sea. We're doing 30 laps, which means it'll be a 2-stopper. And yeah, top speed, acceleration, and high speed corners are crucial. None of those are very good for us right now. That is the way it is. And let's get into Russia. Again, a nice little cinematic. Like to not skip them always because someone put a lot of effort into that and it looks very nice. Same for the map, a nice little beach map. I think the pit lane starts around here, which is actually quite early because the race, the lap end of race point starts there. So it's actually quite long. You can do some shenanigans with the fuel there. Yeah, okay. So let's pick Ines Santa Ana and Frankie Kinney to do some practice runs. Frankie Kinney's feedback is very nice, which is great. It's 14 is good. And we definitely want to use that to our advantage. There's a little mini game where we do the setup of the cars at the start. I like to always just put these little markers right around the edge. Let's put a little bit more. Because it tells you already quite well, okay, if this is very poor, I need to be either in the middle or somewhere here. If it's already good or great, well, great. Then we just move it around a little bit. It gives you already a good idea of where you need to go, in my opinion. Since we're going to be doing a 2-stopper, I think we will be practicing on softs. Yeah, we need to do 2 stops, which means we're going to be doing 3 stints on softs, I think. That means we can push our tires a little bit if necessary. If we do this 7 to 9, we can't do a 2-stopper. So unless we do 1 stint on softs, 2 on supers. With how bad our drivers are and the tire wear on this track being very high, I think 3 stints on softs is the better choice here. Let's again do the same for your car. And set it up like this. And you're also going to be doing softs. And let's get into it then. Send Santa Ana out and send Kenny out. And what we're going to be doing is immediately bring them back in. They're only going to be doing 1 round just to see how they are doing. And wow, your car setup is horrible. As you can see, we gained very little knowledge. Now 62% is really bad. If I get it to around 90, I'm already quite happy. I think it's about a full second that you can take off your lap times by doing this perfect, basically. Going from 0% to 99%. But once I'm around 90, I don't care so much anymore. I think that's good enough. It's not really worth the effort of trying to do more, in my opinion. As you can see, these were our old markers. Very poor. We're definitely going to be trying to just put you a lot different, like let's say around the middle, and if here is also very poor, we go here. Handling is already okay, so let's try to get you like here maybe. And you are poor, so let's put you quite far as well. Alright, let's see how that does. Let's send you out again on your soft. And you're pretty much the same. Also very bad. Also 62%. We got exactly 62% on both. That takes skill. It's not a good skill to have, but I would say it's a skill nonetheless. Let's put handling is already okay, so let's not put you too far away. And your speed balance is very poor, so we will put that quite far away. Yeah, that should be okay. Send you out again. See how that does. We're doing this one on times 12. I know that's very quick, but yeah. The practice mini game is just all about this car setup, and afterwards you just let them run. There's not much else to do. 92%, that's a huge improvement. 30% in the plus. We went from okay to good and from poor to good. Not sure which way to go now, actually. I might have put it a little bit too far to know. Let's try like this. And see what that gets us. It might already go to great or very or excellent. If it doesn't, we'll revert back to 90. 92 is not bad at all. We're gonna let her just race it out now, I think. You are excellent, great, excellent. That is very good. 97%, yeah, that's good enough. We don't care then anymore. We're not gonna be trying to get this one also to excellent. It's such a small thing. I'd rather now focus on getting this knowledge up and trying to get the 0.2 second bonus. It doesn't matter much. Yeah, let's run them. Let's see. Okay, something for your car actually got worse, so let's bring you in one final time and see what we can do about that. Yes, there you go. Yeah, you actually went worse on pretty much both of them. We'll just use this setup, it's okay. Actually we do know where to go now, so let's put you that way and one that way. I think that should be good, yeah. Sorry, one more like this. Yeah, that might get you to like excellent, excellent, excellent. I think. Doesn't matter much, we're gonna be sending her out for her final stint anyway. We have about 3 seconds left. I don't think we'll get to level 3. No, we probably won't, but level 2 is fine anyway. Doesn't matter so much. She loves the handling now. Yeah, we have an all-woman squad here. 2 female race drivers represent. Yeah, one of them will leave very soon, but at least Kitty will be here for quite a while to stay, so that's nice. Yeah, we barely got to level 3. I think if we made a bit fewer stops, we could have probably made it work, but yeah, getting those percentages up is of course also nice. Eastwood Motorsport and Firebird MRT are the top 2. Garuda Racing up in 3. Yeah, you can tell the same team is sort of all the way up there. They are using softs, but they are also, or super softs, I mean, but they are also so much quicker than us already. Just the softs shouldn't matter for almost a 3-second gap. That's insane. Yeah, we're dead last. That is expected. Pretty lame practice session from Predator. I agree, and we need a better driver than Ines Santa Ana unless you want to come last all season. I also agree, but the person we're picking up won't be better than her, at least not in terms of skills. He'll be better for money, though. Alright, then let's start the race. Do a quick setup. We'll actually give her the race trim and the engine expert, because it makes it so that higher engine mode no longer impacts condition. That is a very useful trait early on to have, because our engine isn't that great yet. It means we can run it a little bit higher without penalty. And that gives us, of course, some speed bonuses. Looks like, yeah, we did improve. We went from excellent, excellent, great. Perfect. The game wants us to start on supers. We are not going to be doing that. We need these tires to last in 2 stops for 30 laps. Yeah, the supers are just not going to give us that. You know, even if we do 1 super soft stint, we need to be very conservative with them, because if they only last for 7 turns, it's not going to happen. We're going to start on softs. then go back to softs again, and maybe, if possible, we can do the last lap on supers, but for now, this is fine, I think. And same for you. You are also going to just soft. We have 12 laps of fuel on board, that's fine. And the first lap, we're going to be starting you on the attack and overtake strategies. These just basically mean your car goes a lot faster, but at a cost. Driving style impacts your tires, and engine mode impacts both your fuel and the, at the higher levels at least, the condition of your engine. Now for Ines Santa Ana, that doesn't matter so much. For Frankie Kinney, we really can't be running her in overtake mode for too long. Her engine already has a bad condition, and she also doesn't have the trait like Ines Santa Ana, so we cannot be doing that for too long. We're starting in 11th and 12th, middle of the pack, and let's see if we can also finish middle of the pack. And for the first time, we are out. And looks like we got a pretty bad start with Ines Santa Ana, but Kinney got a decent start. So far, we're not really losing any spots, keeping our 11th and 12th. That's great. We're going to basically run them on red for one lap, just so that they don't lose all their spots immediately. On the other hand, I also don't expect that we'll keep them for very long. Once we do make them play a bit more conservative, or race a bit more conservative, not play, I'm playing, conservative at least. Yeah, immediately already lost a spot to Jönstøttir. Yeah, as you can see, we're immediately already getting overtaken a bit. We're going to be dropping off Kinney now. You're going to high and neutral. I want you to conserve your tires and your fuel a lot better than Santa Ana. And Santa Ana here can push for a little bit longer. And let's put up the speed a little bit and see how that goes. 13th and 14th. Looks like you're going to lose your spot to Dreyfus. Yeah, you're fighting. Nah, you're going to lose it. Probably. Yeah, there you go. She's got the inner. Yep, there you go. On the straight. She's definitely gone. Alright. That's fine. It doesn't matter too much. Your tires. Let's take you to orange red. Basically what we're trying to do is make it so that their fuel counters offset each other by one lap. So I want when her fuel is at 8, I want his to be, or Kinney's to be at 9. Basically we don't want them to pit stop at the same time, but we do want to use all our fuel if possible. So that means we're going to be running Santa Ana here at much higher fuel burning than Kinney. Same thing goes for the tires, of course. We want her tires to be bought a little bit before Kinney's. That means we're going to bring Santa Ana in first. Very quick to note about the heat and coolness of your tires. Basically, I think this doesn't matter at all up until you get to way at the top or way at the bottom. Then either your tires are way too warm or way too cool. And then they really start degrading quick. But for now, it doesn't. I think we're right below, so it's okay. We're just going to keep her on yellow, and the levels between the tires and the fuel is now fine. So we're going to put your engine a little bit lower as well. And keep you both on orange, I think. Your engine is holding out decently, and same for yours. Okay. Yeah, on orange yellow, I think Santana is actually holding out pretty decently, even against someone on supers. And everyone almost on softs is just behind us for at least a few seconds, so that's nice. Kinney is, as expected, not doing so well, but that's okay. And let's run it for a little bit longer. Hopefully the warmth of these tires doesn't go up much more. Yeah, then about the tire wear, while this is just happening before our first pit stop, very quickly, it's important to note that there's about 3 bands for tires. So you have around 66% or something, then around 33, and then you still have a cliff at the end. Oh, that is very important. Sorry. Let's interrupt that because a safety car is leaving the garage, and that means that we can get a cheap pit stop immediately. Now, I am wondering if we're going to be doing both at the same time. Probably not. So we'll take in Santa Ana first, I think. And we get a very cheap pit stop here, but I think with 24 laps to go, I still want to do a 2-stopper in total. Yeah, so let's do a quick pit stop here. All right. Yeah, we do want to pit now, but not for you, Kenny. Sorry. We're going to be pitting Santa Ana. Yeah, once we do a real pit stop, I'll sort of explain more about the pit stops and how they work. But we just had to do this quick, and I didn't want to stop the game for too long. Yeah, Kenny has just overtaken everyone that went into the pit streets. Now you are going to also pit. Actually, we'll do a little bit of a explanation right now. So we need to be doing a few things during our pit stop. First of all, which tires are we going to go on? Well, in your case, that will be, again, the softs, like we said up front. Our strategy is just to do 3 stints on soft. What fuel are we going to give you? We're just going to fill it up. There is some tricks you can do because the game rounds up, so it can save you a few seconds, but right now in the safety car it just doesn't matter so much. So yeah, we're just going to be giving her the max amount of fuel. And do we need to do any part fixes already? Now this might actually, since for Kinney we anyway are going to have to do some part fixes, it might be very sensible to already try and fix either the engine or the gearbox. The gearbox looks to be in a little bit worse shape. I think we will actually be doing that. Wait, what's the difference between that's 17% and this is 13%? So actually maybe let's do the engine. As you can see, this takes incredibly long, 23 seconds. It does happen during fueling. So yeah, it saves you a little bit of that 23 seconds, but not a lot. As you can tell, we go from 12-second pit stop to a 26-second pit stop, which is huge, but it's okay. I think we're going to use this time to keep one of those parts up, and hopefully we don't need to repair it again later on. And also important during this time, we need to put both of their driving styles to low. Anyway, we're doing a certain speed, so we might as well conserve our tires and our fuel and make it last a little bit longer. We have 1 lap left on the safety car. That means Frankie Kinney is probably going to start right at the back of the pack. But that's okay. She should be able to catch up with a fresh engine, which is very nice, I think. Yeah, sucks for Dreyfus, but it does make it easier for us to meet our sponsor objective. Obviously, we're doing fine right now. It's looking okay. Yeah, as you can tell, we're just going to be able to catch up quite easily, actually. We're driving so slow in the train there that, yeah, Kinney is just getting an easy pit. 2 people are making a mistake, I believe. Tang and Beauchamp both didn't go in, so they're trying to get track position in favor of getting a cheap pit stop. I think that's a huge mistake. Garuda Racing normally finishes quite up front, I believe, but this is, I think, a huge mistake from both these drivers. Yeah, as you can tell, she's now complaining about the tire temperature because we're in cold. That's okay. We're going to be pushing her on red as soon as the safety car leaves, and then we will be getting the tire back up. Alright, now it's going to leave right now, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, some people are already starting to push. We are also going to be running on red for a second, and because of the way that we spaced out our pit stops, actually the fuel counters are quite nicely distributed already. But we will bring her back a little bit soon because she just can't. Ugh, why would you pit now, Beauchamp? You are a moron. That is such a bad mistake. Yeah, they definitely should have pitted. Now he's going to start way at the back of the field while the safety car is already gone. Some people are already getting mechanical issues, as you can see here. So that is Arbeloa, I think. Yeah, he's having mechanical issues already, which is really good for us. Ina Santana, because we're running on red, actually took some places. Very nice. We could have maybe actually gotten a higher sponsor objective if this keeps up, but let's not be happy too early. Yeah, let's bring you back already. I want your tires and your fuel to last a little bit longer than Santa Ana's. And anyway, you're not fighting for positions. Beauchamp obviously is 20 seconds behind. So you won't be fighting him anytime soon. And then everyone here, you're not going to overtake anyway. More people with... No, that's still Arbeloa. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we're looking alright this race, actually. We do need to bring your tires back down a little bit. I think we're going to run you an orange for now. We still have... I think that's 19 laps to go. That means, yeah, we need to conserve a little bit here. The last, yeah, especially the last stint will need to be quite conservative, I think. But it's looking okay for now. Might eventually bring you back down to yellow, 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 yellow. I would really like to last for another at least 6 laps, I believe. We could run on blue for a little bit and then actually make these... No, your tires are not going to hold out anyway. Okay, we're going to run on orange because this costs about 1.1 lap of fuel per lap, basically. When we run on orange, when you run on medium, it costs 1 per lap. And when you run on overtake, I think it costs like 1.3, which is why we were burning through our fuel so quickly. That means basically right now we can last for another, let's say, after this lap, 5 laps. So that's okay. Especially considering our tires are probably going to drop down by like 7 or 8% per lap. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, that safety car was... Oh, we also should bring you back down to yellow, yellow. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, about tire wear. While all of this is going on and while Santa Ana is trying to desperately keep all these people behind her. Tire wear. Once your tires are still at its fresh, so above, let's say, like 70%, I believe. I don't know exact percentages, but it's about 1/3. You have 0 performance decrease. Once you get into the middle band, which is like, I don't know, 70 to 30 something percent, then you notice already a decrease. And once you get below that 30%, you're in the last band. That will also be a pretty severe penalty. And the softer your tires, the larger this penalty is. Now, the one thing that's important to note is that every tire also has a certain cliff, which is really a cliff in terms of performance. The harder your tire, the lower that cliff also is. But for example, for softs, I believe it's 15%. Super softs, I think it's 10%, and ultra softs is like... Sorry, I'm saying it the other way around. I think softs is 15 or 10%. Yeah, softs is 10%, I believe. Super softs is 15%. And ultra softs is 25%. Hards, I think, is like 0, basically. And mediums also something like that. Basically, once you get below that cliff, you get a huge penalty. I'm talking like multiple seconds per lap, like something like 4 or 5 sometimes. That's huge. You're basically going to notice immediately, and people will be overtaking you pretty much immediately. So you definitely don't want to run into that cliff. For us, we're not going to hit it, I think, in 3 laps. I think we should be okay. But we could run on conservative for at least 1 lap and make sure that we... Yeah, she's complaining about her tires now. That means she probably hit her lowest band, but not the cliff yet. And you were also going to conserve you because we want to keep you for at least... we might need to put you on conserve your fuel for a little bit. Yeah, so for example, this guy, I think he has hit his cliff, so he's definitely coming in now. Yeah, that's sort of how it works. No one wants to hit their cliff, basically. We need to be running 2 more laps on these tires, if possible. And that's gonna work nicely with the total amount of laps we still need to do. I'm not sure if we can, to be honest. We might need to basically go back up almost. Yeah, let's do that. I really don't want to hit the cliff. So let's just run it on that for a little bit. You on 30%, that's quite okay. I think and you've also done a full lap on blue. We can do like 3 more laps basically now if we need to. Actually, we're only going to be doing 2 laps, so let's put you on high. I miscalculated that one a little bit, yeah. That's okay for now. Let's put you back to conserve. And yeah, this is going to be perfect. Alright, so this is the last lap of Santa Ana, and then she's going to do her last pit stop. I'm going to be putting you back on soft, and... Ooh, 10 to 12. I thought this was 11 to 13, actually. Ooh, that is not good. We have 12 laps remaining, so that means we need to be very careful around your tires. Yeah, like I said, you can do some shenanigans with the fuel. As you can see, we're going to be getting in the pit stop with 0.12 in fuel. When you put 1, for example, like this, we're going to be refueling 1 fuel lap. But actually, because we would be at 1.12, the game rounds it up to 2. So that means you can sort of, instead of saying fill up and go into 12, that costs us a 14-second pit stop. We can do this. We'll still get the 12 laps of fuel because the game rounds up. But we're going to a 13-second pit stop. So yeah, it's a neat little trick. This costs us 1 second, but it seems pretty, yeah, let's make sure that we can run out the race. Our brakes don't look bad at all, to be honest. I think we could run it out regardless, but 1 second isn't going to cost us too much in terms of position, as you can see. Driver in front and behind, doesn't matter. It didn't change. We'll still be doing a fast pit stop. It ups your chance by, yeah, it basically doubles the chance that it happens, but honestly, that doesn't matter too much. I mean, unless you get a very, very, very bad mistake, for example, a fire or putting the wrong tire on, like a different, I've seen both of those, but it doesn't happen too often, and if a mistake happens, often it takes only about 2 seconds or something to fix it. And we're saving so much time already with only a 20% chance of that happening that I think the fast pit stops are pretty much always worth it, unless you have a very bad pit crew that makes a lot of mistakes. Okay, your gearbox is starting to feel clunky. That means you're, anyway, you were going in right now anyway, so that doesn't matter too much. We're going to be doing the same for you. Yeah, your fuel situation is a bit less nice for the roundup, but that's okay. We're going to be fixing the gearbox. I think we should last on the engine, which is nice. So we did good by picking the engine, I think, for that. As you can tell, yeah, the pit stop time is now going to be, again, 26 seconds. We got the first one basically for free, thanks to the safety car, but oh, our below are retired. Okay. Guess you shouldn't have ran with those dodgy parts for too long. Yeah, that's a lot of smoke coming out. Oh. Thank you for the spot. Yeah, well, you're not keeping that position for very long, because you are pitting for a very long time. Oh, and for you, I ran you on orange for a little bit there, but now we're going to need to run you on blue for a bit. I got distracted by Kinney's pit stop. That was a bit bad. Yeah, we need to run out the race now with Santa Ana. This was our last pit. She is the one we're banking on to get us into the points for sure. And the sponsor objective. Yeah, as you can see, she's now in 15th. A lot of people ahead still need to pit. Not every one of those we're going to be able to overtake. For example, Sabado, Antonov. Sabado especially is not catchable at all. He's having the drive of his life, 10 seconds ahead of second. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Oh, Gerard might overtake him actually once he pits. Not sure if Gerard can last for the rest of the race. Probably he can. Alright, we're now on excess fuel and our tires are decent enough. We need to do about 10 laps still. That is dangerous. Yeah. We'll have to see how that goes. We can keep you on orange for a while, because right now we need to do, yeah, now we're on 21. 21 means 10 laps exactly. That means our fuel is perfect. I'm not sure about the tire wear. We might need to do some laps on green to make that last. It was always, yeah, a bit of a risk, of course, running the softs with still 12 laps to go. That's also the upper band, but we'll have to see. We're actually quite far ahead of Mello, so Kinney isn't doing too bad either. And there's still some people that need to pit. So despite having to repair twice on some very costly parts to repair, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, we're going to keep you on orange, and your tires are fine too. Alright, let's see how this goes. Yeah, we don't need to pit anymore, so there's nothing much to do right now. Your brakes are starting to look very dodgy, but I think we're going to try and ride out the race, give you a nice points finish and keep your morale up. Anyway, we're banking on Santa Ana to give us the sponsor objective. Yeah, with some people still needing to pit, we might actually be able to get a higher... Yeah, no, I don't think any higher sponsor objective would have been smart. That's too risky. 16th is so easy to get so early on, and 200,000 is a nice little bonus. That's basically another pit crew member or something like that. That's just more important to me than maybe making 600,000, but you can only do it if basically everyone is having issues. Jean-Pierre Gerard is having issues. Where are you? Oh, Beauchamp retired. Okay. A lot of things are happening at the same time here. That's very good for us. And you having a mechanical issue might actually put you out of the race for a while too. Yeah, you're already smoking, but it looks like you'll be able to keep on racing. You're getting overtaken left and right. This is why these early on races are so good. Because basically, as you can tell, okay, the crash was lucky, but all these retirements, you can basically bank on. They're almost guaranteed because the AI teams haven't put too much stock in their reliability, and they'll also tend to run with bad parts for way too long. You can see it, yeah, Gerard is spending so much time in the pit stop because of that. When maybe before he didn't actually have to pit anymore. He's even gotten overtaken now by Kinney, which is crazy. Just now he's finally getting out. On supers, of course, but still, that's a huge deficit already to overtake, even on supers. There's 5 laps left. We're on 43. Now might be the time to run a little bit on conserve here. Yeah. And we might be able to run you on orange for a little bit there on your engine. You are still going fine. Last 1 or 2 laps, you're probably going to be in the red for either of these parts, but that's okay. Oh, some more people pitted. That means we're actually getting 6 now for Santa Ana. I don't think we'll be able to hold on because our tires are starting to look dreadful, but that is very interesting. Looks like Sabado will win this race. No one seems to be able to catch him anymore. Cavalcanti, I don't think we'll overtake her either. By the time she's out of the pits, we won't even be close, I think. Another retirement, Marchetta, who was in second. That's great for us. I mean, I must say, having played this start quite a few times to try and figure out what works and what doesn't, this is a lot of retirements and a lot of engine issues and a lot of whatever else. I don't think you can count normally on this many retirements and this high of a podium finish. If I'd known this up front, I probably would have tried to take a better sponsor objective. Oh, there goes your engine. I think we'll try it. We'll bring you back to medium. I don't know if that matters too much, but yeah, we're gonna try. Okay, we need to do 2 more laps, and you have 29%. I think that will work beautifully. And since we get to do 2 more laps, we can put you on orange for now. This is a lot of retirements and whatever else. This is not normal, at least. I think this is above average, which is very good for us, huh? Don't get me wrong, but if you try to do this start yourself, I don't think you can count on this many. Basically, whatever we did now, because of all these retirements and crashes, we would have finished above our sponsor objective regardless of what we did. We could have literally come in dead last with 5 minutes on the 15 person, and it still wouldn't have mattered. Last lap of the race. Let's put you on overtake mode. See if we can keep at least that 6th position. Our tires are way worse than everyone else's, so definitely won't be overtaking anyone, but let's push your tires a little bit. Your engine is still looking fine. 18% is... yeah. Can go wrong at any time, but let's try. For the last lap, if we could get 6th and 10th, that would be insane. And let's push your tires a little bit too. Ooh, that's a 16%. Oh. I don't know about that. I might have overestimated your overtake capacity too. That's... yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna get 6th. I don't think. That's a shame. We're gonna be running out of fuel and out of tire wear. We're gonna hit our cliff right now. That means on the last bit we got overtaken. Go. No. Our fuel lasted just not long enough. It's okay. 8 is still really great. Obviously I would have liked getting 7th or 6th, but I made a tiny bit of a mistake keeping her on orange for a bit too long, and maybe we should have looked a little bit better after our tires. But in the end, getting 8th and 10th is definitely really good. We got lucky with a few retirements and crashes and whatever else, but I think we had a good strategy. A 2-stop here was sensible, and with our driver's capabilities, running on double or triple softs is also just sensible. Ultra softs would not have done us any good. As you can tell, we barely lasted the race on soft, which is of course also due to the early safety car. We would have normally lasted the other tires till around here, And that means also we could have maybe done an ultra soft at the end, but yeah, the early safety car made it so that in the end, this was just the only way to go. Yeah, 8th and 10th with the worst cars on the grid. That is great. I think we got about as much out of that as we could. Maybe 1 or 2 spots on Santa Ana was possible, but I think this is insanely good already. Yeah, 13 and 11 points are great. We probably got a very high mid-level finish in the constructors. Have a look. Yeah, 4th. That is crazy good. See if anyone liked us. Why did Predator Racing Group cross the road to get to the middle? Haha. That's not funny. You probably aren't used to us finishing above 18th place, so screw you, Irvin. Lots of excitement about Andre Sabato's win, but don't forget about Predator Racing Group. They look strong. Hashtag contenders. I disagree, Rachel, but at least for the first few races, we should indeed be able to get some quality finishes like we did just now. And that is definitely going to impact our morale. Of course, we're going to be getting a decent amount of money, and the chairman should also be very happy with this, which means we can ask him for some money soon, which is a great little bonus. Yeah, as you can tell, we're getting some stat points on Ines Santana because she's quite young and she still has some potential, but yeah, she is going to be gone soon. Don't get too attached to her. Frankie Kinney isn't improving anymore because, well, she's 35. Drivers generally don't get better after 35 unless you're called Alonso. Yeah, we came in 4th. That's a huge bonus to our chairman's happiness. It's crazy. And also even our team marketability, we got a huge bump. Plus 1.67% is insane, actually. Then as for cash, this is the kind of money making is exactly what I like to see. Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Darren. As you can see, we actually made a profit on our drivers' wages. Obviously, all of them cost some money, but thanks to the Frankie Kinney pay driver trade, we actually profited instead of it costing us money. We also got some chairman payments, which is what we get for finishing in 10th at least. We got some sponsor deals, which is nice. 200,000 for getting 16th. And our manager's financial skills actually give us somehow a payment discount. I don't know what, I guess on all of these costs, but that's how you can tell that, yeah, this is actually a pretty crazy bonus. I think on all these costs, we saved 5%. That's a neat little bonus right there. Plus 1.2 million. I'll take that. Don't really care what happened in the other events. Yeah, and here once more is our Asian Cup. We did very well here. I think this was a very successful first episode. We definitely set ourselves up to do well during the rest of this season. We made a lot of money. Already after one race, we're up to 2.5 million, which is huge. And we can still also beg our chairman later for some money. But after this first race, I think this is a good point to cut it off. Next episode, we're definitely going to be looking into replacing Santa Ana with all the money we got, improve our sponsors as quick as possible, and then start working towards that level 2 factory. All the while, of course, trying to extract as many points with our horrible cars as we can from these races. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I very much did. Very excited about this new series and this making a new YouTube channel. I'll be definitely finishing up this series and taking it all the way to the end. I hope whoever is watching this did enjoy it, if any, and hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching.